This is a song I wrote a couple months ago about Andre the Giant. It's rumored that on multiple occasions he drank over 100 beers and then went out and won wrestling matches. But it's called The Man with the Mighty Thirst. Well, he came down from the mountains in the spring, if I recall. Hands as wide as tractor tires, standing 10 feet tall. It caused a great commotion when he wandered into town. All the men picked up their pitchforks, all the women cried so loud. He said he'd just awoken from a slumber long and deep. Upon opening his eyes, he felt the urge to have a drink. Said he was only thirsty and he didn't mean no harm. Then politely he inquired as to where he'd find the bar. Someone amongst them pointed to a nearby local dive. He walked up to the swinging doors and pushed his way inside. What happened soon thereafter is the source of local myth. What follows is a true account of what I heard he did. Yeah, he drank a dozen beers in about a minute flat, and then drank another dozen in the minute after that. Drank up all the whiskey, then he drank up all the wine. Drank up everything there was to drink within his side. Yeah, he picked him up and knocked him back till they thought he might burst. But no drink they make could seem to slake the man with the mighty thirst. Townfolk gathered around him to watch his daring feat. Bets were laid and lost and paid, he never missed a beat. The barkeep barely kept up with his superhuman pace. The crowd around cheered louder with each glass he put away. Well, he drank a dozen beers in about a minute flat, and then drank another dozen in the minute after that. And drank all of the tequila, then he ate a bag of limes. Made a funny face and then he spit out all the rhymes. Yeah, he picked him up and knocked him back till they thought he might burst. But no drink they make could seem to slake the man with the mighty thirst. Now he didn't come to dance and he didn't come to fight. He just came to do some drinking tonight. Well, he sat there and he drank till every single drop was gone. Legends say the bar tab was as long as he is tall. He stood up from his bar, still seeming no worse for the wear, till he staggered through the swinging doors into the evening air. And he went back to the mountains without a word goodbye. People here still tell the tale of the man who drank us dry. And they say he's in a cave up there still recovering from a hangover the likes of which this world has never seen. Yeah, he drank a dozen beers in about a minute flat, and then drank another dozen in the minute after that. Drank up all the whiskey, then he drank up all the wine. Drank up everything there was to drink within his side. Yeah, he picked him up and knocked him back till they thought he might burst. Well, they doubted he could do it all, it wouldn't be the first. Yeah, they picked him up and knocked him back till they thought he might burst. But no drink they make could seem to slake the man with the mighty thirst. Something like that. Thanks. Yeah.
A lot of this from your time indoors during the Great Ice Storm?
Yeah,
23?
yeah. I started that song. I had the very beginning of it, and I literally, I was writing the words, "The Man with the Mighty Thirst." I had a notepad. I wrote it 100 times, just trying to figure out how to start it. And because that's a folk song to me. It's an honest to God character song. You create a folk character like a Paul Bunyan or John Henry, a big man legend, and you do that. And I was even drawing him just this big hairy ugly mountain guy, and just couldn't figure it out. And then one day it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and it just kind of came out. And I don't even really write songs that are typically that fast, so I just been having a lot of fun playing it. Really happy that that's one of the ones that came out. But on that creative high, I sat down and I wrote this one as well. this is one that I'm proud of and have really just really enjoyed playing. Not exactly a sing-along course, but there's a little bar down near Lukenbach in a town similar to Lukenbach because it was started by Albert Lukenbach, and the town is called Albert. And on the bar, up above the bar, next to a bronze bust of Hondo Crouch, a friend of Jerry Jeff Walker's, there is a little sign that says "Locals Only." And I always thought that was cool. The few dozen times I played there, and I sat down and wrote this song after having that idea rattling around in my head for a couple years. But the song's called "Locals Only." Well, I was wandering through an old hill country town, just rambling around the streets, and the whole place was covered from its cobbles to its gutters in a litany of rustic antiques. I stumbled upon this old out-of-the-way place. It was a dive with no signage, which I thought was strange, but nevertheless, I strode inside and took a seat. At a long wooden bar in a low-ceiling room, it was dark as a dungeon and cold as a tomb. A kerosene lamp lit a rickety table where a couple old cowboys sat at odd crooked angles, and the bartender stood and he smoked in the corner, but he seemed in no hurry to come take of my order until he furrowed his brow and he flicked a loose ash. He started my way as he started to ask, "Where are you from?" I said, "How about a beer?" He said, "Boy, are you deaf?" I said, "Sir, I can hear. I'm from Fort Worth, only here for the weekend, a quick getaway, full of shopping and drinking." He said, "You're from the city?" I said, "Yes, I suppose." He said, "You know, there's a winery that's just up the road. It's got bold Cabernet and fine leather chairs, and I think you'd fit in a bit better in there." He stared deep in my soul as he gestured behind me to the back of the bar where a hand-painted sign hung in crimson block letters on a backdrop of white. It read, "Locals Only," in the kerosene light. I got a lump in my throat and I sunk in my chair, and those crooked old cowboys had started to stare. I searched for my words, but nothing much came, till finally I croaked, "That's an interesting name." He said, "It ain't a name, it's this bar's only rule, and all you tourists are arrogant fools who think that this town and the people that live here are monkeys to dance for your money and pleasure." He lectured a while on the pure devastation of ranches and farms owned for 8 generations, chopped up and sold to build Airbnbs for the bachelorettes and the fellas like me. When the bluebonnets bloom, all the people from Austin turn their eyes to the west, and they flock by the thousands. They come for our rivers and our hills high and green. They trample around and then hightail it east, not knowing the history of the ground that they tread, not caring at all for the way things have been. So forgive me if just 'cause you wander in here, I don't hop to attention to pour you a beer. Well, he ended his rant and he finished his cig, and those cowboys stood up from the chairs they were in. I knew in that instant that I'd outstayed my welcome, so without a word uttered, I made for the exit. And I went to that place that the barkeep had mentioned, and the chairs were quite comfy and the wine was delicious, but on the tip of my tongue was the sourest taste left in my mouth by that low-ceilinged place. And many times through the years I've been back to that town, and I've looked and I've searched and I've rambled around for that dingy old dive, but I can't seem to find it. Maybe it was a dream, or more likely a nightmare. The barman a ghost of the hill country past, and his great lamentation a last dying gasp, and that pair of old cowboys a manifestation of the way the world was and how much it's been changing. Thanks. This is kind of another one I wrote when that freeze came through Texas. It's kind of a song about my dad, but kind of a song about a lot of the older fellas I grew up knowing, and just kind of as I've gotten older and become a young man, they've gone from being, young men, middle-aged men, to being old men. And a lot of these were some pretty wild-ass character guys that, just used to run real hot and kind of burn it at both ends, and they're doing that a little less these days. And anyway, the song's called "The Last Living Desperado." Well, a nursing home is no place for an aging desperado, but a nursing home is where he finds himself to be today. He's a million miles away from who he was and what he did when he was just a young man riding hard and trying to make his name. He met a girl out in El Paso and he thought that she was pretty. He decided maybe he could try to settle down a while. But a while turned into 10 years, turned into the next 3 decades, turned him into just an old man that the world had passed on by. Desperado, desperado, tell me where did the years go? All the outlaws are dead and the gunfighters are gone. The doctor said you don't have long. But he used to be a wanted man who had to hide his face. Now he can't even get his grandchildren to call. His shooting hand is shakes and his gun belt barely fits, and he ain't been up on a horse in so damn long he can't recall. Desperado, desperado, tell me where did the years go? All the outlaws are dead and the gunfighters are gone. The doctor said you don't have long. Oh, and legacy is really all a man can leave behind. They say the last time someone says your name is the day you really die. Well, they found him in the morning, he had passed the night before. He went peacefully the way an old man should. No, it weren't no blazing glory when the poets tell the story. They'll say time will always get the man, the bullet never could. Desperado, desperado, tell me where did the years go? All the outlaws are dead and the gunfighters are gone. Desperado, desperado, tell me where did the years go? All the outlaws are dead and the gunfighters are gone. Now all you got left is this song. Yeah, something like that. What are you smiling about? Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah, man, you know, you got a lot of old cats in your life like that. I'm sure it's just like, man, I remember my dad when he first had us, like, when he was, you know, it was like, my dad was, it was always implied, like, my dad would be like, hey, I'm going fishing, I'm going hunting, I'm going to the rodeo, I'm going to do this, and it was like, always implied, like, I'm going and you're invited. And like, man, like when my dad was 36 years old, the dude just did not have any quit, like at all. Like, I mean, go to bed at 2, wake up at 4, like hook up the boat, hook up the horse, like whatever, like let's go do it. And like, man, it's like in my mind when I think of him, that's how I think of him, just like burning hot like that. Have I ever played Silver City? Yeah, man, I like this one. In a beat-up Eldorado, driving south through Colorado, there's a blizzard on my back and there's a girl that's on my mind. Well, she's down in Silver City and she called to say she missed me. So I'm racing through the darkness trying to beat the morning light. Well, this road is dark and dusty, the whiskey's good, the women lusty, and there's a million ways a man like me could give my love away. But she don't have to wonder if I'll ever start to wander, 'cause she holds my heart so I can't go astray. And I've been thinking about her, waiting there so patiently and pretty, so I'm headed home to see the girl I love in Silver City. Somewhere east of Lubbock, in my tired eyes I'm rubbing, take another sip of coffee and I lay the throttle down. The western wind is blowing, all the cotton fields are glowing, dancing in the spotlight of the full moon shining down. Well, this road is dark and dusty, the whiskey good, the women lusty, and there's a million ways a man like me could give my love away. But she don't have to wonder if I'll ever start to wander, 'cause she holds my heart so I can't go straight. And I've been thinking about her, waiting there so patiently and pretty, so I'm headed home to see the girl I love in Silver City. And I'll sneak in so quiet and I'll kiss her on the cheek, and lay down in our bed with her and I'll fall fast asleep. And the funny thing is, even while she's lying next to me, her face is all I'll see in my dreams. Well, this road is dark and dusty, the whiskey's good, the women lusty, and there's a million ways a man like me could give my love away. But she don't have to wonder if I'll ever start to wander, 'cause she holds my heart and will for all my days. And I've been thinking about her, waiting there so patiently and pretty. Everywhere I go, you know she's always right there with me. I've been thinking about her, waiting there so patiently and pretty, so I'm headed home to see the girl I love in Silver City. In a beat-up Eldorado, driving south through Colorado, there's a blizzard on my back and there's a girl that's on my mind. Steve's making me a pair of boots, so I figured I'd make him up a song, a la Jerry Jeff Walker and the song he wrote for Charlie Dunn, which I pay a little homage to in the beginning. Here we go. Well, I'm taking a page from old Jerry Jeff in the song he wrote for Charlie Dunn, 'cause I've got a friend that makes handmade boots and I promise that they're twice as good. His name is Steve Parker at Morris Boot in Fort Worth on Montgomery Street. And being friends with Steve has been good for my heart, and even better for the soles of my feet. You see, Steve's been making handmade boots longer than I've even been alive. He's stitched more pairs than I've had hot meals, and brother, that ain't no lie. He's made them for actors and singers too, rodeo cowboys only passing through. He's made them for doctors, he's made them for lawyers, and he'll make a pair for you. And if Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them, 'cause those other boots, they just don't ever last. If Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them, and if you offer me a store-bought pair, I'd have to pass. You see, Steve's just as much of an artist as any painter that I've ever met, and he's twice as humble as most folks are that are only half as good at their craft. Most people these days don't pay much attention to the shoes they put on their feet, but a handmade pair sewn up by Steve's enough to make a blind man see. If Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them. Those other boots, they just don't ever last. And if Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them. If you offer me a store-bought pair, I'd have to pass. Now Texas is chock full of cheapo boots made south of the Rio Grande, and guys like Steve, they're making it by any way that they can. So before you walk into that big boot store on a cobblestone Stockyard Street, make a detour down to the west side and come see my buddy Steve. And if Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them, 'cause those other boots, they just don't ever last. If Steve don't make them, I don't want to wear them. If you offer me a store-bought pair, I'd have to pass. And you can shove them store-bought pairs right up your ass. Something like that. Thanks. Hope you like it, Steve. I'm looking forward to my boot. College roommates from Crest, Texas, a very, very small town. About an hour north of Lubbock, just a little bit north of Plainview, if you're familiar with that area. His grandfather has been the mayor of Crest, Texas. He's been the sheriff of Crest, Texas. He owns about 50 sections of land out there. He's got lots of windmills. He's also been in, what's the best way to say it? He's been in the Crest jail, the whatever county Plainview's in. He's been in that jail about one time for all the times he was the sheriff as well as a younger man. And they even let him be the sheriff later. Just a real crazy fella. But I wrote this song kind of about him, just kind of about folks out there. It's called Cheaper Than Water. When the wine is cheaper than water, and the oil is thicker than mud, the rain will fall all over Texas and turn all the red dirt to blood. Well, I was born and I was raised in Hale County, and my father would ranch all year long. He'd push and he'd pull on a pale palomino, singing his sad cowboy song. When the wine's cheaper than water, and the oil is thicker than mud, the rain will fall all over Texas and turn all the red dirt to blood. On Sundays we'd ride into Lubbock and pray at the old Church of Christ. We'd stand and we'd sing a cappella. I still hear those hymns in my mind. When the wine's cheaper than water, and the oil is thicker than mud, the rain will fall all over Texas and turn all the red dirt to blood. Well, I married and moved off to Fort Worth, and Mama, she died just last June. Daddy's been dead for a decade or so, but I still sing that sad, lonesome tune. When the wine's cheaper than water, and the oil is thicker than mud, the rain will fall all over Texas and turn all the red dirt to blood. Oh, when the wine's cheaper than water, and the oil is thicker than mud, the rain will fall all over Texas, and it'll turn all the red dirt to blood. The rain will fall all over Texas, and it'll turn all the red dirt to blood. Okay, I'll do one more. This one's for the ladies. It's called Firefly. I could catch you in my hands and keep you to myself, and try to hide your light so you can't shine for no one else. But you wouldn't last that long in a jar up on my shelf, so I gotta set you free even though it hurts like hell. You came to me like a fever dream on a Texas summer night, and golden embers flickered in and out across the sky. Rays of moonlight danced off of your wings onto the ground and got away wish I knew back then the things that I know now. Firefly, tell me, why'd you have to leave? And when you went, why did you take the brightest parts of me with you? And how we burned out like a star across the sky. You lit up my world and flew out of my life. Maybe you'll come back another night. Firefly. I catch you now and then in the corner of my eye. I'm floating like a melody down the river of my mind. And maybe it's me missing you, what a terrible cliche. And maybe it's me wishing that I could have made you stay. Firefly, tell me, why'd you have to leave? And when you went, why did you take the brightest parts of me with you? And how we burned out like a star across the sky. You lit up my world and flew out of my life. Maybe you'll come back another night. Firefly. I could see you dancing out across the great divide. Who could really blame me if I love the way you shine? Oh God, I loved the way you shine. And Firefly, tell me, why'd you have to leave? And when you went, why did you take the brightest parts of me with you? And how we burned out like a star across the sky. You lit up my world and flew out of my life. And maybe you'll come back another night.